Welcome to the Mystery Mouse Knitting Podcast. My name is Holly. I'm coming to you from Colorado, where I live with my husband and our 5 kids and our many pets. And today is Monday, May 22nd, I think. Before I forget, I am wearing the Professor Meows sweater. I think it's a sweater. I made it into a vest by Knit Picks. This is a Knit Picks pattern, and you're supposed to knit it with Wonder Fluff. I think I knit it with some yarn I bought it Tuesday morning, which is like an Overstocks store. But anyway, it's supposed to be a 2-color sweater and just has short sleeves. You know, the kind of sleeves where you're like knitting up and then you just add a few stitches so that you make a short sleeve. And but I went in and then I picked up stitches for ribbing for like a vest. So it's a little big, but it's very comfortable and it's perfect for those kind of days where like you're just a little chilly. This is not one of those days, but I wanted to wear knitting because of the podcast. But I also went off pattern a little bit in that, you know, the eye color and the nose color is just supposed to be whatever your background color is. So, but I did this with, I don't remember if I duplicate stitched it. I probably did it in Tarja. Anyway, I did this with mohair held double, and it was like a color changing mohair. That's all I had, and it was kind of stripy, so that's why the eyes don't look the same, because it was a different place in the stripe. But then I did the nose with, I think I did it with this pink with a mohair held double, so I really like how it turned out. So, and I did a cat on the back. I don't know if I can show you. Let me see. So I just did a blank cat with no eyes for the back. So it was like the back of his head. So I thought that was kind of funny. Oh, I have some knitting to talk to you about today. And I do have a few book things and acquisitions. So I don't have any finished objects this week. All I'm working on right now seem to be bigger things, and I finally got over a couple of humps. So let me show you the things I'm working on. First of all, in my Stolen Minutes bag, my Everywhere sweater by Devin of Knitty McPurly. It's always so hard to get sweaters out without being a disaster. Okay. So I had just finished the body last time, and now I am working on the sleeves. And I'm doing the sleeves on DPNs because I think I could not find a circular needle that was in the right size for the sleeves. But I might look again because DPNs for a sleeve is kind of a pain. I always do DPNs for socks, but I don't really like it for sleeves. So here's my sleeve. I've done about 1.5 inches, but I'm thankful to say that it looks like it's not going to be huge. I was a little worried that the sleeve was going to be too big, but on the needles, of course, it scrunches it in. But here's the other sleeve, and you can just see how stretchy it is. So without the stitches being picked up on the bottom, it just looks huge. But then over here, it looks better. So anyway, this is in my hand-dyed yarn. I just dyed myself some red for this sweater. And I'm not in a huge rush to get this done because I know I won't be wearing this in the summer. This is a bulky weight sweater with mohair, so it's going to be very warm. And but I will be finishing this by the fall. And you know, it's funny because Devin of Knitty McPurly was just saying in her last podcast that she looks at summer as the like pregame. Was it pregame? The pregame to the fall. You know, it was like the preparation time. And I really like to think about it like that too, because I'm not a summer person. And so to think of it as like, okay, we're going to use this time to get ready for the time you like the best, that is much more pleasant. So anyway, I'm working on that. I really need to put those DPNs in a holder because they are a mess, and I think I dropped one. Today I'm drinking water in a cup. Actually, this used to have lemonade in it, so it's slightly lemonade-y, but The lemonade was all gone because that stuff does not last very long in my house. So anyway, that was one sleeve. Second thing I'm working on here is also a sleeve for Toby's night sweater. I did have a circular needle for this, and this sleeve is not even knit in the round. Of course, I'm in the middle of a row. So I finished this sleeve last time. I picked up 80 stitches and I knit it flat, still not seamed. So I picked up the 80 stitches for this side, and I've just done like 5 rows or something. So, but I wanted to show you because I just need this accountability, because sleeves are the hardest thing for me to be motivated to do. And I've kind of set myself up to be doing all sleeves at the same time. And that's really all I've worked on, except for one other thing, because this thing took over my life, and that is the Faucet Crop by Knitty McPurly. So I told you last time I had a mini skein set. Maybe I can put a picture of it here. That was 6 colors, and they were like 33 grams each. So I have a feeling they had full skeins and they split them into thirds. So 6 colors, plus I needed a main color because that was still only like 2 full skeins of yarn. And it's fingering weight. This pattern is in DK. I figured I needed a more of like one other color that was almost a complete skein anyway. So I did that. I picked a brown, and I have run the gamut with this project. I thought at first, oh, this is great, this will look nice. And then I thought, oh, I hate this, it looks terrible. And then I thought, oh, it looks okay. And now I love it. So let me show you. It's not without its problems, but please remember, this is a lot more colors than the usual Fosette. So here is my version. Like I said, it's in fingering weight, so I went up a size. It looks really tiny, but I have tried this on and it fits. And I'm doing a size 5 for the numbers, but every once in a while I added in a row or 2 for the length, because I figured even if my numbers were fine going across, I don't know if my row gauge would be enough, you know? So I just, like, I think I added a row here, and I think I added a row here and here. And then in this section, this large color work section under the arm, I added several rows. I think it's supposed to only be this long, and I added like 2 or 3 more. And then, so when I tried it on, it was right after I had split for the sleeves. And so I had done like 2 rows after the sleeves. It was before I started this color work section at the bottom. So it was fitting great. Now I have small shoulders for the rest of me. Like I have a bigger bust and tummy area than I do shoulders, you know. So a lot of times I'll find that if I knit the size for my bust, the shoulders are too big, especially in a circular yoke, and it'll be kind of baggy and sad looking. So this was fitting super good in the yoke. Like it was nice. It wasn't like stretched, but it was, I don't know, it was just really nicely fitting. So, but I knew, and had come down to like right here. So I still had a little bit of, I don't know, maybe like 1/2 inch of bust going out. So I, under the arm, I did some increases. So I'm really proud of myself for this, because it was in the color work, but I was just starting. So it was like I was able to establish it. This is a 1 by 1 color work. So what I did was I knit front and back 2 times, and I alternated the colors so that it established the pattern. So I increased 4 here, well, 2 here, and then 2 under the other arm. So that was 4. And then when I got through the color work section into this plain section, I increased a stitch on each side, and then I knit a round or 2 plain, and then I increased another stitch on each side. So I think that is going to give me the room that I need. And now there is a problem that I'm going to have to fix, and it's going to be quite an extensive surgery kind of fixing. Can you guys see? I'm trying to line this up. Can you guys see what the problem is? I did short rows in here, and the center, or the end of the round is supposed to go on the top of the sleeve. I always just put the end of the round in the center back because I wanted to do short rows, and it's just way easier. But when I split for the sleeves, okay, and this is another thing I did. I'm sorry. This is such a mess. When I split for the sleeves, I made the front 2 stitches bigger than the back. So that, because I've just got more up front than I do in the back. So I did 2 stitches more in the front. So I don't know if that messed me up, but whatever happened, my short rows are no longer centered. You can see right here, that's where they are. And I feel like they're more than 2 stitches off, but they're just kind of like over to the side a little bit. But this is a blessing in disguise, because if my short rows hadn't had a problem, I would have just left it alone. But this top section here, I do not like as much as the rest of this, because I'll tell you, when I was starting, I was really worried about adding the blue in. The blue just looked kind of like, almost like it didn't go with the other colors to me. But then I did the blue and the green together here, and I loved how they looked together. So I put them together every time, and I feel like they just glow. You know how some colors just react to each other that way. So I feel like I need some blue up here. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to wait until I finish the rest of the body, at least. I am going to not cut this yet. I'm going to re-knit the top of the sweater like I was starting over. And then when I get, I think, to this yellow stripe here, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to Kitchener it together. And I'm a little scared because I'm okay at Kitchener, but only for socks. I've never tried to Kitchener an entire sweater around. But I think I'm going to try, because I feel very motivated to do that. I think that will make my sweater perfect for me, and I will be really happy about that. Also, I really was questioning whether this brown was going to be nice and look good. Someone said in the comments last time that it looked really Southwestern, which was like, yes, of course, it is very Southwestern. And I had never thought of that. I love that kind of Southwestern look. I mean, I live very close to that area of the country, so. But I really love it. This is just a Hobby Lobby yarn. This is one of their hand-dyed yarn bee. Is it called Authentic Hand Dyed? And I don't remember what the color is. It's like chestnut or something, but it's really pretty, and it's not pooling or anything like that. So I really like how that is working out, and I have this much left. So I need to decide how long to make this. I think this is going to be more of a cropped sweater than my Mrs. Potts Fosette was, but I don't just want it to look like there's this weird wide stripe that's not really like the body. It's just, you know, I want it to look intentional. But I do want to have a little bit of this left, both for the color work in the bottom and for the sleeves. I am not just going to put a cuff on these sleeves. I think I'm going to do, I don't know, a few inches. I still want it to be short sleeved, but I think I will get more wear out of it if it is a little bit longer in the sleeve. So, and this, like I said, this just took over my whole life. I thought that I was going to be, like, I thought when I got to the body and it was just stockinette that I would be bored. And after a couple inches, I did kind of get bored, and I started working those other sleeves. But then there were a few times and it was just like, I just needed to knit. And this is just around and around. You know how it is. I know that you guys understand. Knit in the round and stockinette, it is so relaxing. So, and this is in one of my bags by Susan of Delightful Works. It fits perfectly. It's so snug. And so that's all the knitting I did this week, or the last 2 weeks almost. Yeah. I did work in my mom's cross stitch a little bit, but it doesn't look that different. I mean, you have to really work on cross stitch a lot for people to be like, oh yeah, I can tell the difference, you know. So I am going to do a book talk section and an acquisition section. And I don't think I've got any news from my shop, but I'll talk about that later. Okay, so first of all, I was reading last time this Thrush Green by Miss Reed. And I thought I would mention because Emily of Woldenburn was talking about May Day and how much she loved May Day. And this whole book takes place on May Day. So it's really cool. And this is what's great about Miss Reed. She doesn't always do things the same, but she does. I know she's done several books like this where it happens all real close together, and it's just like a little snapshot of the village and each person's trials and joys, and how one day can change so much. And I just think it's interesting. So this whole book takes place on May Day. It starts when like people wake up and like their expectations of the day, and you know what they're thinking about and looking forward to or dreading, and then it ends when the last one goes to sleep that night. So anyway, and it ends like at midnight. Anyway, it's a really cute little book. I really enjoyed it. In the middle of reading that, I read this Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, which is quite a departure from Thrush Green. This is like a classic dystopian future novel, science fiction. I remember reading it in high school, but I only remembered the ending. So I read this in one day. It's so good. It's so good. It's so compelling, and it's so timely. So I would encourage people to pick this back up. This was written in the 50s, and my copy has an afterword written by Ray Bradbury in the 80s, where he talks about censorship, and I thought that was really interesting. So highly, highly recommend this book. I actually just picked up another book by Ray Bradbury of his short stories. Hold on, I'll go get it. This is called Quicker Than the Eye, and they're short stories by Ray Bradbury. And it's kind of funny because I looked at it, I'm like, and then the quote on the top says, any one of these stories is worth the price of the book. And it was $1. So I said, okay. Anyway, so I enjoy Ray Bradbury. He's really good, and he's not, I don't know, he's not too depressing. You know what I mean? There's a little glimmer of hope. At least in Fahrenheit 451 there is, and I think that's encouraging. So I picked that up. So I guess we're in acquisitions now. Let me show you some things that I got knitting related. I picked up this Simply Knitting magazine from my local bookstore, and I looked through it because it was one of those ones in a wrapper that you could not look through. And there's some nice patterns in here. There's a really nice men's sweater pattern. That is called Blue Moods. I don't know who wrote that. It's really nice. So men's sweater patterns are always something that I'm on the lookout for. Also, they have this really cute mat, and I think it's this is part 1 of a series that they're doing. But I love how 3D it is, because you know how you can buy those little car mats for little kids to drive their cars on. I have found that little kids usually get bored with those pretty quick because they're so flat. So I really like this, that this has got some texture to it, and they can tell, like, okay, this is not part of the road. We can't just go nuts with our cars. This is a haystack, you know? And I might be making some of those. Also, I like it that it's in squares, so you can do a little bit at a time and not feel like you're knitting this giant blanket thing. But the real reason I bought this was because this was the free gift. Now, I've never heard of this show. This is a British show from the 70s, so it's before my time, and also I'm not British. But it looks like, I looked it up, and these are little characters that live in a park, and they clean up litter after people, and only one little girl can see them. It sounds very like 70s, 80s TV. I mean, like, wasn't that the case with like Care Bears? Like only certain people could see them. Anyway, I don't know. But they're so cute, and I thought they looked like little dogs. So I think they're supposed to be like creatures. I don't think they're supposed to be dogs, but don't they look like little dogs? And what I thought was so interesting is look at their eyes. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to show you close up. But their eyes look like they're down underneath the knitting. Like, I mean, I haven't looked in the pattern yet, but it looks like you do the knitting around the eye and then you insert some felt or something underneath, which is such a genius way of getting, I don't know, a 3D eye effect without having like to build up and out. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just thought those were super cute. I'm going to see if I can find this show maybe on YouTube. I looked on Amazon and they have a movie that you could buy or rent. That was kind of like the end of the show. You know how they always do a movie. But I haven't looked to see if I could find the show anywhere. I think after this, I was just in a mood because a few days later, I bought this. Also from my bookstore. So I know that there is the first book. I know Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits has knit 4 of the characters from the first book for her kids, and she was working on some clothes for them. I would love to know how that's going, Stephanie, if you're watching. But I saw this, and they didn't have the first one, but this is just so cute. Let me just give you a little. There's like 19 animals in here. So they keep having different, they never have a group of like all of them, but they keep doing different groupings of them. And they're so cute. And I love how, look at this sloth. I love how their clothes are mix and match. So you could really just knit one animal and then knit them all the clothes. So, I mean, do I have time to knit this kind of stuff? I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm going to try. The thing is, I still have kids that would love these things, you know, so I had my girls look through it, and they each picked an animal, and I think I'm going to make one for Grady. Look at these overalls. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the lion. I mean, this is, you know, when am I going to do this? I don't know. Sometime I'm going to do this. I'm going to make Grady the lion. I love his mane. Right now, Grady thinks that every, like, scary animal is a lion. Every animal that goes rawr. But I think I'm going to make this lion with the outfit of the rhinoceros because it's so cute. And then Ivy, let me show you, hold on. Ivy likes the tiger. She loves tigers. So, and she also picked out some different outfits that she likes. And Mary likes the elephant. So I don't know if the boys or my older boys are going to want any. Toby probably will, but not desperately because he is 13 years old. And Teddy probably won't care so much, but we'll see. So anyway, like I said, I really don't have time to knit stuffed animals, little fiddly things. I have so much that I want to knit already that I have like set aside in project bags. I think all my project bags are full. They're either full of things that are in progress, hibernating, or yarn that has a plan for it that is waiting to be cast on. And does this mean I have too many things to knit, or that maybe I just need some more project bags? So, but anyway, so I'm going to do that at some point. If I was a really organized person, I think what I would do is write down. I used to write my knitting down. I used to write down what I was knitting. I even a couple times wrote down some deadlines for myself, and I even kept a couple of them. I don't know if that was like accidental or I just wrote down things that I knew I was going to do anyway. So, but I would really, I kind of would like to do that again because I feel like right now I'm just knitting what I feel like knitting, which is nice, but it's also like I'm not getting anything done. So I do want to finish my Fosette. I'm really enjoying working on that. And there is a knit along and a deadline. I haven't posted any pictures of it online. You know, it's just, I'll tell you, I struggle with communicating sometimes, not like talking maybe, but sharing. I think I struggle sometimes with sharing. So, but I need to post some pictures online because I know she's doing prizes and stuff, and I would love to just participate because I am making a Fosette. Also, I have that Christmas one I want to make. As soon as this one's done, I'm going to cast that one on because I can't help it, and it will be fun. And it will be nice because that one will only have 3 colors, so it'll be a little less decisions and less overwhelming. Plus, I think it'll be interesting having made this one in the size that I made. I think I'll make this one in the same size, but it will be fingering weight and mohair held together. So I'm interested to see if that changes the gauge any. I'm just doing a big experiment here. So I have one yarn acquisition, which I have to go get. Hold on. Emily of the Woldenburn Knitting Podcast hand-dyed some yarn for a mini skein set based on Redwall characters named after flowers for spring. So I picked one of those up, and here it is. These are so pretty. And you know what I love about them, Emily, is they're springy, but they're also sort of autumnal because I don't know. I like spring, but I love the fall. And so I'm looking forward to doing something with these. I'm going to do some color work with these for sure. And I'm not sure what yet, but I will keep you posted. There might be one of these left in her Etsy shop. Go snap it up if you can. It's Woldenburn on Etsy, and I will link that below. So that is the Redwall Flowers mini skein set. And I'm trying to think now, as far as a life update, my parents-in-law came to visit, and that was really nice. We went to the zoo, and they were here for Mother's Day. So my mother-in-law came to the Mother's Day tea, which was really fun. And well, it was a mother-daughter tea. It was the day before Mother's Day. And then on Mother's Day, we all went out to eat with my parents and my brother, and it was really nice. So it was great to see them. And also, we got a giant trampoline. Do you remember that part from The Emperor's New Groove where they're like, for the last time, we did not order a giant trampoline. He's like, well, you could have told me that before I set it up. And then the kitty falls in there. Okay, anyway. I love that part. I always think of that every time. So we got a big trampoline for our kids, and I spent like an entire day putting that together. Killed my hands, like, because you have to stretch the springs from the, from the trampoline base to the thingy going around it. Anyway, and it was really hard, and we did it completely wrong the first time. We had to take a bunch out, and then but I mean, Teddy helped me, but it was like both of our hands were just killing us by the time we were done. But it's all made, and the kids love that. So for my shop, there is still some advent calendars available. There's not a ton left, so I would encourage you, if you're interested in getting the Christy for Christmas yarn advent calendar. It's 12 20-gram mini skeins, one 100-gram skein, a mystery shawl knitting pattern, and various stitch markers and goodies scattered throughout the days. I am working on the shawl design right now, and I'm really, really excited about it. I want it to be an immersive experience. So not just like you open it up and you're like, oh, pretty yarn, which is fine and great. But I really, because I love books and I love stories, I really want it to be that like you're in that world for a little while. And I really hope that that comes through. And so anyway, also available in my shop for a very limited remaining time is my June Nancy Drew Mystery Sock Club for June. So this is a mystery sock set, one 100-gram skein, two 20-gram mini skeins, and a stitch marker. That will only be available until June 1st. Then I'm closing down the listing, and I will be making those sock sets. So if you want to get one of those, you need to do that before June 1st. So I think that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a great couple of weeks until I see you again. Keep knitting, and be sure to comment below if you have any better ideas for my problem with my neck, or any tips or anything, because I'm a little worried about it, but I think it's going to be okay. You can tell me what you're knitting, especially if you're knitting a Fosette. I'd love to hear what you're doing. But I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Bye.